Welcome to Two Trees Gaming. We've got a 1,000-point Middle-earth strategy battle game report for you. It's the Iron Hills Dwarves versus Goblin Town and the Three Trolls. Aaron and Louis will be teaming up to take charge of the Iron Hills Dwarves. They're led by Dain, who's got threes in all the right places, his burly, his riding, his warboar, and his defense 8. He's going to make the models around him fearless when he charges, and he's got a 4+ Master of Battle. Quite the formidable opponent, but he's not the biggest threat in the army. He's accompanied by Murin Drar, who are providing 6 points of might between them, and Drar can offer a couple of extra shots to go alongside the 8 crossbows that they've brought with them. They've got 17 Iron Hills Dwarves, who when locked together in shield wall, are going to be defense 8. That's going to be a tough nut to crack. And around the flanks, they'll have 5 Iron Hills Goat Riders with their war spears. But the real centrepiece of the army is the fearsome Iron Hills Chariot. They've gone for the captain upgrade on it. They're hoping it's going to plough through goblins like they're not even there. I'll be using a yellow alliance of Goblin Town allied with the Three Trolls. The leader of the army is the Goblin King. He's very durable because he's got his blubbery mass, which is going to let him ignore wounds on a 3+. He's also fight value 6 and a monster, so he could be particularly useful for breaking up shield walls with hurls or barges. I've got 53 regular goblins and 12 goblin mercenaries. They're backed up by 2 regular captains and the mercenary captain for some expendable might points. Grinner's there for more expendable might and a few tricks with his swapping positions rule. And Gollum's in the list with the 1 ring. Him and Tom can both half the fight value of an opponent in different ways. That could be particularly useful against Dain. We're going to be playing Destroy the Supplies, and for some reason the armies of goblins and dwarves have met on the outskirts of Gondor. There's going to be 3 main theatres of war on the battlefield: the house, the market, and the forest. The game's going to end when one force is reduced to 25% of their starting number. There's 3 supply markers in each deployment zone. You're going to get 2 points for each enemy supply marker that you destroy. To destroy one, you just have to be in base contact with it in the end phase of a turn without having shot, cast a magical power, or fought in combat. There's going to be 1 and 2 victory points for wounding and killing the enemy leader, 1 and 2 victory points for breaking the opponent and being unbroken yourself, and 1 and 2 victory points for having a banner or having the only banner left in the game. Before we even roll priority for turn 1, the dwarves start the game with a 2-0 lead as they have a banner and I don't. I win priority on turn 1 and I've got no archery, so there's nothing else for it except to charge forward. The bulk of the dwarven archery is on the left here. I'm determined to not let my army break. If goblins break, they'll just run and I'll be quickly reduced to 25%. And inevitably they'll be able to get in at my back objectives and win the game. What I decide to do is hide Tom behind this building and use Bert as a pincushion. The crossbows are going to need 6s against him instead of 5s against Tom and 4s against the goblin. They advance their cavalry down the right-hand flank. I've got a captain and a bunch of goblins in front of it. Hopefully the captain will be able to take a hit from the chariot and survive, and then I'll be able to jump on them and mob them the following turn. Aaron takes the bait and plans for the crossbows to shoot at Bill. The rest of the dwarven infantry marches forward. They're hoping to hold their flank against the market building, so I can't bring my numbers to bear. The chariot begins the shoot phase by taking aim at my goblin captain right in front of it.
1 hit. Hit off front fire. Yeah.
Not a lot of ones. That was 225 points, right?
We're just going to play out some goblins in front. 2 hits. 1 dead goblin. Great. Okay, Murin shooting there. Bill?
Which one?
Bill?
This one?
Bill? Yeah. 1 hit. 6 hits.
Oh, my. Oh.
Well, that's already massively backfired, and there's 3 more crossbow shots to face.
Oh. Super time in range. Yeah. 2 clear shots with crossbows, both hit. 6s.
No, another wound.
Another wound. 2 in the way. Well, sorry, 1 can't see him, 1 in the way shot. Hits. Do I hit the building?
No, hits the building.
Hits the building. And then 1 shot at 1 of the goblins.
Yes. That wasn't good.
The score hasn't changed, but that was a pretty disastrous start for me. I baited them out with Bill, and it really backfired. I've got to be careful with him now. I can't afford to lose 3 might and a monster before the lines even hit. All of a sudden, Tom and Bill are looking very isolated on my flank near the house. I'm hoping they're going to be joined by some goblin mercenaries at the end of my turn though. I'm desperate to lose priority this turn. If I win, I'll have no choice but to march forward. If I lose, their chariot can either stay put or move forward. Either way, I'll be able to close the gap on it and potentially call a heroic move next turn. So we rolled for priority, and inevitably I won.
Oh dear.
I keep Tom tucked behind the building in the hope that the goblin mercenaries will arrive in at this turn, and then next turn they'll be able to shield him as he moves towards objective number 2.
Oh, Bill. Bill. I can get fully out of range, but he's got 3 points of might now, and he just needs to get 1.
I put a couple of in the ways between Bill and the crossbows. I was really hoping to lose priority this turn so that I could close in on the chariot, win priority next turn, and stop it getting a charge off. As it stands, I can't afford to take that many crossbow shots, so I won't be waiting. I'm going to close the gap, mitigate my losses as best I can, and then hopefully I'll still be able to jump it next turn. Luckily for me, the mercenaries do arrive this turn, and then it's on to the dwarves' movement. Aaron and Louis wisely decide to inch their cavalry and chariot forward rather than committing to a full move this turn. A full 8-inch move would only take out the front rank of goblins, and then they'd be left exposed. This way, they can capitalise on a full charge next turn. They stay just out of 5 inches, but well within 8.
Just going to get isolated, and then he's going to end up on a roll.
That's what I mean. If we form up here, he's never breaking through that. He's never getting these two. He's got to come to us, and the chariot can kind of mop up around the back and just forget that, or let them come walk.
But I think they might take the chariot. Like, because basically, what I think the problem is, what's going to happen is we're going to get out there, then it's going to come to a roll off on a heroic move.
Yeah.
If it works, then we're quids in. But if it doesn't, then it's coming down to a roll, which I think we should try and avoid. I would make a thinner line across here to support these.
Louis is worried about my numbers and their dwarves getting isolated. He wants to forgo objective 2 and focus on defending objective 4 and 6 with Dain and the infantry. He then wants to send the cavalry and the chariot round the back of my line to claim all the objectives. If it works, it would be excellent, but the chariot's likely to stall, and that's the point that Aaron's making. He'd rather create a thinner line of dwarves instead of the traditional 1 in front, 1 behind. Have 2 in front, 1 behind. They can then shield where they need to and pick their spear supports where they want to, and potentially protect all 3 objectives and not rely so heavily on the chariot being successful.
Probably into the captain, yeah, because he's the only potential very popular.
Yeah.
5. 4. 5 shots into the captain.
Yeah.
Four
Nice. 4
hits.
hits.
Just
Yeah.
4 plus
Do
together.
we hit the front one?
It's the front one.
It's front one.
You kill him. Dead from.
3 at the captain.
Yeah. He's had 3 wounds on the counter. Yeah. It's 3 hits. 2 dead goblins. Murin's got a clear shot at Tom. 1 hits. 4, no wound.
2 more?
I think to do better, maybe. Shoot through for that. 1 hit. Do I hit the front goblin?
Yes.
No. Do I hit the second goblin? No.
Uh-oh.
On Bert? No. Should have dropped the goblin.
I should say at this point that throughout the video, Aaron's going to be getting the names of the trolls and both Murin and Drar mixed up, but the on-screen graphics are correct. That was a brutal turn of shooting for me. That captain had 2 points of might, which I was going to use to heroic move against the chariot. They've now got a free run down my flank, which they capitalise on by winning priority and calling a heroic march. Louis puts a dice down as a marker so he knows how far the chariot can travel before turning, and then the slaughter begins. It quickly dispatches of 2 goblins, and then a 3rd and a 4th. He kills a 5th and a 6th, before 2 rolls of a 1, a 2, and a 6 scrape him through on 2 more kills.
Another 1 and a 2 and a 6.
Yeah.
Last one, he needs it. No!
Oh.
Oh, look at him. Stop! Stop! There's goblins here.
Having seen it kill 10 goblins in a single move phase, Aaron and Louis plan to make the most of the chariot. They move Dain towards it so that it can benefit from his master of battle. They move the dwarves with him, which means they have to abandon their flank against the market, but they maintain Aaron's 2 in front, 1 behind formation. This has left a gap between the market stalls for me to get to objective 4, which I plan to capitalise on. Near the house, they tried to hold my goblin mercenaries at the stairs, and they march Murin and 5 dwarves forward. The idea being that if they get surrounded, their crossbows will be able to shoot off spear supports or join in the combat as necessary. I fan my goblins out near the chariot. It's not enough to be able to stop a heroic move, I also need to be able to stop a potential heroic combat. I move Bert as close to the chariot as I can and keep a goblin captain behind him. I'll use the captain to call heroic moves, although I'm very aware of Dain's master of battle. In the centre, they manage to avoid Gollum and the Goblin King. Tom advances towards objective 2 with the goblin mercenaries as a shield. Bill limps towards the centre of the battlefield where Dain plans to vacate to be nearer to the chariot. And I leave some goblins on objectives 3 and 5. This is so that if the chariot wins priority and manages to move on to one of those objectives, I'll be able to charge them with a goblin. That means the chariot will have been in combat and they won't be able to claim that objective that turn.
Should we do that? Should we clear the
path.
clear the path? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So we're going to clear the path. So we're going to shoot this one first, then that one, then that one.
Okay.
Do this. I'm just going to put it out to from
One does.
that one. I'm going to use 2 shots from Murin.
Yeah.
1 hits, 5s. 1 wound.
So that's a wound.
Great. No fate.
No, it's a wound.
Okay. Well, so try and finish him off because we may as well try and get the might out again. So first crossbow into him, hits. Not dead. Second crossbow into him, missed. Third crossbow can see him as well, hits. 4th crossbow, dwarves in the way. He's just going to shoot a goblin on the end. Hits. Doesn't kill anything. Though.
6 shots.
6 shots.
Yeah.
Well,
2 hits.
twice anyway.
Pause. Both fine.
What's the point of having the chariot?
There's only 3 combats this turn. A pair of Iron Hills dwarves fighting against a pair of goblin mercenaries on the stairs. 4 goblins facing off against 2 Iron Hills in front of the Goblin King. And then the lone goblin facing off against the chariot on his own.
5.
6. You're not in shield walls, so it's straight 6s.
Yeah.
Not dead.
5s.
6.
Got a banner. 6.
Oh, Aaron Banner London.
Didn't kill anything. Did I have axes stuck to my pouches? 5.
This goblin gets 3. At the end of turn 3, there's no change in the score, but the lines are about to clash and there's going to be a whole lot more combats this turn. The dwarves lose priority. They call a heroic move with the chariot, and I counter-call with my goblin captain. I win the roll-off, and I attack it with as many models as I can. I attack all of their goat riders to prevent them getting the charge bonus and keep them as separate from the chariot as possible. I attack Dain with a single goblin. I'm trying to draw a point of might out of him for a heroic combat. Aaron's makeshift shield wall in the middle is doing its job at the moment, but its first real test is coming. The Goblin King charges into its flank, and Bill is now ominously close. I'm aware that even with the Goblin King there, my goblins aren't going to win the fight in the middle. I break through the market with 7. I only need 1 to be touching an objective at the end of the turn to score the point. Near the house, I surround Murin and his band of warriors. I keep Tom out to one side. If he can barge away from the combat he's in and get to the crossbows, once they're taken out, he'll be able to claim objective 2. On their move, Louis and Aaron charge their 1 available goat rider into some goblins attacking the chariot. Drar shuffles back so he can cover objectives 2 and 4 with his bow, and the crossbowmen protecting objective 2 move themselves in front of the objective to buy themselves a turn. The shoot phase begins with the chariot firing 3 shots at 2 goblins that couldn't quite make it into combat. None does again.
these 4 shots into these goblins. 2 hits. Not ideal.
Oh, none dead again.
These ones are going to shoot Bill in the ass.
Okay, yeah, I can see that on the camera. Hits. Uh-oh.
That was a lucky escape for Bill, and it's on to the combat phase where Aaron and Louis have taken the bait and call a heroic combat with Dain. Their thinking is they'll be able to push close to my captain and Bert and benefit from his master of battle.
Okay, let's do Dane's combat. 4.
Oh, Dain. The goblin gets a 4. You win.
Foolishly, I've left a path from Dain to my goblin captain, which he duly capitalises on. On the other side of the battlefield, Tom could potentially barge and reach the crossbows defending objective number 2. The issue is I've trapped myself in with my own goblin spearman, and a pair of goblins are fighting an Iron Hills dwarf. If they can kill the dwarf, there will be room for Tom to barge his way out. If they don't kill it, he'll be stuck there for another turn.
Right, this is the one I want to kill so that I can then barge out with Tom. So
Okay.
the plan is to kill that guy. Right, there we go.
Okay, I'm going to shield.
6.
4.
Big 6 needed. Not there. 2
He might be
5s.
trapped.
Ooh.
Yeah, it looks trapped. Yeah.
Another 5. 3 5s.
Then you move back.
Yeah. Right, and then, okay, we'll do Tom now.
Got to attack Tom. We'll do my 5s. 5.
Because
Right.
those goblins failed to kill the Iron Hills at the bottom of the stairs, Tom now can't barge out without hitting the control zone of the Iron Hills spearman. He does rend and make a kill though.
5.
6. Goblin Mercenary is black. I need 6s on by 4s on that one. Not dead.
I just couldn't make a dent in the dwarven armour,
No wounds.
and in the centre of the battlefield I was losing goblins fast. I lose 5 goblins in a row with no dwarves in reply, and then it's on to the Goblin King's combat.
4.
5.
Banner. 1. Done.
I'm going to barge back a full 3 inches here. Both the spearman and him straight line back. We'll go into 2 now, and I've broken your shield a little bit. That's a 3.
5.
I can't do anything about that.
Good.
Good.
I'm not using any mic. No wounds. That's not good. Right, this is the side of the table where hopefully things are going to get a bit better, but that has been bad so far.
I managed to win every single combat against the Goat Riders, but failed to make a kill. All that's left now for the combat phase is Dain versus the Goblin Captain, and Bert versus the Chariot.
And then Dain. Go on, little captain. 6.
Does he have a banner or anything?
No.
Can you reroll anything?
No. So 2 attacks against his pig.
You bastard.
His defense 6 isn't the
Yeah.
big, so that's nothing. I could use a mic, but it's only 1 wound, so no, he's fine. Chariot versus Bert.
So let me get sorry. 3.
I charged you
So 2 chariot dice plus 2 crew.
because 1 shot. Yeah. So I've got
Shouldn't shot.
6, and I've got the fact that you also didn't roll 6. Okay, so 1, 2, or 3, I'm going to hit the chariot. 2 hits on the chariot, 1 on the crew. So the 2 hits on the chariot first, his defense 8, I'm showing 7, 6, 5s. 1 wound on the chariot. And then against the crew member, dead crew member. So that turn's not gone well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goblins died in return for 1 Iron Hills, but I obviously killed a chariot crew member off the chariot. The chariot's now not so much a worry. It's got no might. It's kind of stranded out there. The issue is in a one-on-one, it turns out the goblins always lose to the Iron Hills. So my operation now is going to be to make sure I get my trolls in. If my trolls are alive at the end of the game, they're probably not done enough damage.
So not a great turn for me in terms of kills, but I am breaking through toward Objective 4 in the centre of the battlefield. And I'm not expecting Murin and Drar's company to last too long against Tom the Troll and his friends.
You've already killed 24 goblins. You're not far breaking me.
Okay.
Priority. 3. So that's me got it, and you calling anything.
Yeah, we have to with Dain.
Okay, so we've got to roll off here then. 5.
Huge.
Yep, Louis, on your request, I'm now recording.
Do we go back to objectives? Objectives. Bypass the troll completely, plough through 2, pivot, and start working our way down the back.
Ooh. 8's got to stay within 6 inches of Dain.
Yeah, but
Very
if Dain
possibly.
hits and wraps there,
Yeah.
go pivot, pivot.
They follow through with the plan. Dain and a goat rider charge into Bert, whilst the other goat riders try to mop up as many goblins as they can. And the chariot starts to make its move round toward Objective 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a 45-degree pivot.
That's enough. You'll get a protractor on it. On my move, I get dangerously close to objective number 2. The Goblin King and Bill make moves towards the centre of the battlefield, where they could attack Dain or potentially move toward the Iron Hills banner. There's potentially a loss of victory points on offer there. And then some goblins make a late run from the market to objective 4. They're not quite touching, but if they can survive a round of shooting, they'll be able to claim it next turn. The shoot phase begins with 4 crossbows all missing Tom the Troll, before Drar drops a goblin that's running through toward objective 4.
4 crossbows at these 3. Roll that. 2 hits. 2 dice.
Massive.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good. Interesting game. It's kind of feels like a bit of a race at the moment. They're going to break me. I've already lost 31 goblins. They've only lost 1 and an Iron Hills guy. But I'm getting close to the objectives.
Yeah, so we're going to heroic strike with Dain.
Dain's heroic striking. Okay. I'm going
For his
to
last point of mine.
Yeah.
heroic combat with the Goblin King and heroic strike with Bill.
Dope. What's he striking to?
10.
Dope.
It's the Goblin King and Bill and a goblin surrounding one.
I
But
thought going to shield.
he's got another one. So
There's a lot of banner.
okay, so the Goblin King gets 5. Bill gets the 3. And the Goblin behind gets a 3. So the Goblin
Pass me, yeah.
King got a 5. Are you in range of a banner?
Yeah.
Aaron Banner is always in range. He's got a 2. The Goblin King does it.
Okay.
Dain causes terror. So terror check for Bill to charge Dain.
Go.
He's done it. So he'll go there, and then he goes into that, and then I split the combats.
Dope.
Before we find out how Dain gets on, we move to the other side of the battlefield near the house, where I managed to kill 3 Iron Hills dwarves and wound Murin. In the centre of the battlefield, things don't quite go so well, and I lose 5 goblins without reply.
Okay, we've taken the market.
So I've taken the house, you've taken the market. The captain
5.
5. The captain will use a point of might on that. That's his last point of might on small captain. He's dead with the goblins killed him. Another goat rider and 2 goblins die before it's on to the Goblin King.
We attack because we might win the lead.
Oh, 2.
5.
Could have done with it.
I'm going to barge.
It's an animal.
How far does he move? 3 will get me there. 5 will get me there. 3. Oh. Yeah, just that front guy. We'll do the Goblin King again.
5.
5.
Got a banner. Banner.
Oh.
Done.
So Dain's been spared the Goblin King charging into his combat, but he's still got 2 trolls to contend with.
Oh, what's my fight?
What's your fight value? I'm 10. 10. Okay. 6. So we're going to do Bill, black dice, 6, and then Bert. Look, we've got the 6 we needed.
You got prices.
It's the roll off. 1, 2, or 3. Dane's dead. Oh!
That was a big roll off. It's denied me the chance to get some victory points on the board, and Bill is looking very vulnerable after the first turn of shooting.
So he's got 1 wound, 1 fate.
Oh, okay. I'll do one attack on him first. 4s.
Strength, defense 7, strength 5 with a plus 1 to wound.
Plus 1 to wound.
He's strength 5, isn't he?
1 wound.
Fate. Fast.
Next wound. Dead. See how was on the other one? 1 wound.
Yeah, I'll take the wound.
That was ruthless from Dain. Bill's dead and Bert's taken a cheat wound, and what's more is I'm very close to being broken now.
39 to break me, or 38 to break me. Troll is model 40. I'm broken.
That was not a good turn for me. I'm broken, and that means my army's going to start running very soon. But I have still got good board coverage. I just need to start claiming objectives as soon as I possibly can.
Priority.
I need this again.
5.
It's a 3.
That's 3.
Right, I need stand fast to go, so this is the time to spend the mic. So, the mercenary captain is going to call a heroic move, and the king is a hero of legend, so his will go off. So, a grinner's going to call a heroic move.
Murin is going to call a heroic move.
Okay, so it's your roll off.
Yes. 2.
I get it.
So we forgot to move the top-down camera, but essentially the Goblin mercenary captain has called a heroic move to activate his standfast. The issue is his starting position means that none of the goblins can actually get onto the objective this turn.
So, Tom's courage test to just stay on the battlefield.
5.
That doesn't feel good, but he's got 4 will.
Does it?
Courage 3. 3 will.
So,
3 will.
So I've got 8, so I've got to spend 2 of his will to stay around, so he's got 1 will left.
Grinner passes his courage test, which keeps the goblins around him from running. Gollum passes his, but then fails his test for the ring, and they run in directly back toward my own deployment zone. That's all my heroic moves done, and then it's onto the dwarves' movement. They move the chariot so the back end's just touching an objective and dismount one of the crew.
So
I
Dave doesn't have a strike.
Dain doesn't have a strike, so I think Dain goes and smashes Grimmer. So I'm going to do 2.5. So we're still covering that, but I've also got shots there if we kill him with the, or he runs. Or... Should we go for the Goblin King?
Mob him. You're fearless. I'm
Fearless.
fearless.
All of them. All of them. Should we just mob the Goblin King?
Yeah, why not?
Go for the kill.
And then on my move, 4 goblins run, including the goblin that was running from the market through to objective 4.
And then that guy. Gone.
Massive. Massive.
And to make matters worse, a goblin mercenary gets shot by the crossbow from the chariot. Here's how the board's looking at the start of the combat phase as we enter the endgame. Tom's facing off against a pair of dwarf crossbowmen. He's backed by a couple of goblins. Just behind him, Murin and his friends are completely surrounded by goblins, and that's looking quite good for me. Objective 4 was looking the most likely for me to get a few turns ago, and now there's no goblins in sight. The Goblin King's been completely swamped in the middle of the battlefield, and over near the forest, Dain's fighting Grinner. They're just trying to take away my standfast and my might points, and it's looking likely they'll do that at the moment. And I don't think there's any stopping the Iron Hills Chariot claiming the first objective of the game.
I'm going to heroic combat with Bert.
Didn't think of that.
I did think of it was again.
Into the Goat Rider.
into the Goat
Just
Rider,
to make up time.
And
And
then-
then heroic move.
barge.
That's alright. We'll have to stick a hammer on one of the jacks. How many wounds has he got left? After his last running with
Yeah, he's not doing great, but he wants some revenge. So, right, so we've got a heroic combat to do here, which is Bert and one goblin.
shield. 3.
3. No banner. Bert is obviously going to kill him. The
obviously.
goblin hasn't killed him.
Nope.
And
Bert has not killed him.
Bert hasn't killed him.
I'm just moving away.
There was a third goblin. There was a third goblin I was going to put in that combat and I decided not to because I was going to barge. But obviously this was a better plan.
Did you take his might off for his hero?
I did take
Ooh! No. I read a free one with Dain, would have been closer.
No.
Let's do the troll on 2.
Tom. Go on, Tom.
5.
That's 4.
1 wound on Tom.
I'll take the wind.
You leave out supplies in there.
That didn't go to plan, did it?
Up next is Murin and some very trapped dwarves. Let's see what kind of damage I can cause there.
Murin. Blood draw.
Yep.
Murin.
3.
3.
I got 4.
6. Against the armoured one first. Both dead. He's in shield wall.
Dead. Not dead.
Oh,
These 3 have made a wee triangle. Defense 7.
Defense
dwarves.
8.
Defense 8 dwarves. When one of them dies, then the other 2 are going to go.
It's not going particularly well for me this turn, and the prospect of Dain fighting Grinner is not a particularly appealing one for me right now.
4 plus 1 to 2 wins. One more.
4. 3.
Oh, you have. You killed him. Yeah, he's killed him. Goblin King?
Yeah.
So. 5.
Yeah, because I put the banner
Minus
as
1
well.
on orange.
Banner's not
Oh.
6.
The banner's 9. I'm going to have to use
I
point
believe it's
nine.
his last point, haven't I?
I think not. King's got 2, so
Oh,
down
yeah.
to 1 now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to barge. How far does he move? 4.
It's about here that I make a frankly terrible decision. My plan was always to barge out and attack their banner, and what's more is they've left him isolated and not in base contact with anybody. I'd be able to kill him and it would be a 2 victory point swing. Instead, I've got caught up with Dain killing Grinner and just losing the combats all over the board, and I've moved myself toward Dain to try and get the leader kills.
I'm going to attack with that guy because I might put a wound on him.
Goblin King?
Yeah. 1.
5. Dead.
Yes.
So a little respite for me as the Goblin King managed to kill a dwarf, and now it's my Goblin Captain and a Goblin versus a Goat Rider on the charge.
5.
4.
2 to the captain.
That's 2 wounds.
We charge.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Dead.
And you will.
dead. Finally, they've done something.
So first supply of the game, this goes to you. Oh.
At this point, I feel like the win might be slipping away from me, but if I can kill Dain or claim an objective or 2, or maybe kill the banner, I might be able to scrape a draw, or maybe just the smallest of wins.
I've got 22 models left. When I get down to 18, it's 25%, so this is likely to be the last turn. And I'm not making much headway. Wolf priority?
Yeah. 1.
I get it.
You get
1. Both roll 1. Any heroics from yourself?
Yeah, look, I think I'm going to heroic move with Murin.
I'll go with the mercenary captain, please. You get it.
Aaron tags my Goblin Mercenary Captain to take the standfast away. He's hoping that most of my goblins will run. His issue is that he can't get to Tom, so I will have a standfast down there. The problem is the standfast activates at the end of the move, so if I want Tom anywhere near the objective, he's not going to be able to keep a lot of goblins with him.
The Goblin King. Yeah,
3.
he's alright.
Yeah.
What's the coach?
3.
Whoa!
Having missed my chance to kill the Dwarven Banner Bearer last turn, my best shot at victory points is to take some wounds off Dain. I charge the Goblin King into him and loot round with Bert the Troll to give him some backup. I might be able to get him in one combat here, Although that is what I thought when both Bert and Bill were fighting him. It didn't quite work out that way.
Right, we set courage test.
He does need to take a courage test. Bert, this is fine. I tagged the chariot with a goblin so that it can't get to objective number 3. And then it's on to Gollum and Tom. Gollum, 4.
Courage 4.
So he's on 8. 0 will, 1 might, he's gone.
He did literally nothing.
Courage test for Tom. This is actually a really big one, so you get 2 points. 5.
Courage 3.
Courage 3. 6, 7, 8. He's going to spend his last will and his might point. I can't tell if that was really lucky or unlucky, but it has allowed me to move some goblins onto the objective. They'll stay there as long as Drar and his crossbow friends don't have anything to say about it. 2 of their crossbows were lined up in a way that meant they couldn't shoot, so they've moved. My goblins have got to face 2 shots from Drar and 2 shots from the crossbows.
So these 2 that have got to shoot through that goblin, both missed. Draw to shoot the 2 goblins there. I'm going to spend 2 points of might to hit with both.
Oh my god.
Well, what else am I doing? So I've hit with both.
Because you need to kill them both, you mean, yeah.
Oh.
How do you feel? Sad. So Goblin King's last point in might. I'm going to strike, but I'm going to do Bert's combat first.
Okay, I'm going to master a battle.
Yep. Oh, it's failed.
Failed.
So, Bert gets 5.
Really need to roll.
This is a goat rider. You need a 6.
Oh! It was.
3.
Oh, no, it's not just this.
So I'm going to barge.
Oh, I hope it wasn't 2.
And then, how far does Bert move? Need a 3. Okay, we'll come back to that one last because it's the only one that really matters.
Go and make up to something.
Tom takes a wound and 4 goblins die, which means this is the final combat of the game. It's 2 goblin warriors, the Goblin King and Bert the Troll versus Dain Ironfoot. What is my photo? It's 7. You want to set me a target?
5.
5 and you've got no might. The 2 goblins at the back.
You win.
I win.
You happy with that?
I'm very, very happy with that too. So I'm going to roll the 2 goblins first. 6s by 4s on these. I'm going to double them because they're surrounded. No. 6.
Ooh.
1.
No, nothing.
So Bert's going to be the orange dice. And we need 5s all around. I get to roll this twice. 1, 2, and no 4s on orange. So 2 wounds. 3, and I'll point my might that now before even seeing you roll to make 4 wounds. So you've got 3 fate.
First wound. It's
Failed.
not negated. Second wound is negated. 4+ in his life.
Can't.
That's cocked. He fails his fate, and Dain dies. I claim objective number 2, but it's too little, too late. Thanks. I made the mistake of having that first turn of priority. I chucked all my goblins into 2-on-2s. My trolls were just at that. Should have waited, taken 1 round of shooting, but then my trolls needed to be the ones in combat.
Draw minesweeping.
MVP.
Works pretty well. Yeah, I think quite a game, but putting in the shift when he
Just making the pass before the assist.
Yeah, it was. That's exactly what he was doing. Yeah, just like, oh, that goblin's dead.
And go like anti.
Ngolo Drar.
Yeah.
So the final score is 6-4 to the Dwarves. If you enjoyed that, please consider subscribing to the channel and help us on our quest to become the home of quality Middle-earth strategy battle game content on YouTube. And why not follow us on Instagram at 2 Trees Gaming, where you can find mini battle reports, miniature showcases, and sneak peeks at future videos. Thank you so much for watching. We hope we see you again soon.